Today we celebrate the feast of the Transfiguration of Christ. The feast of the Transfiguration is a very special one. It was a very special one because that experience was actually meant for disciples alone. Personally, I have a feeling that the description of the Transfiguration in scriptural texts, whether Matthew, Mark, or Luke, because they are all recorded in the Synoptic Gospels, they do not really express clearly the experience of the disciples. Why do I say this? I say this because even though they try to use human terms to explain what they saw, I have a very strong feeling that it was something greater than this. Because after the entire experience, Jesus has said to them, do not tell anyone until the Son of Man is raised from the dead. You know, that will to obey the instruction of Jesus and the fear not to reveal what they had seen will certainly becloud details of the narration of their experience. Because they have been instructed, don't tell anyone, don't say anything about it. If you tell a child, don't say anything about it until such time, even when he's going to talk about it, he's going to be very careful. Because, you know, he has been told not to say anything about this and until such time. Well, he's going to talk about it later, but we just make reference to it. It will not be as explicit as it ordinarily would have been if you had had the freedom to narrate it the moment it happened. Details would have been lost. And so, we probably did not get the exact presentation or something close to the best of it. Come to think about the experience itself. We just told he was transfigured. To be transfigured is to be completely changed. For something to change completely in its form and appearance. That's what it means to be transfigured. Which means Jesus actually changed completely. And they couldn't have the best words for description for it. And this experience was meant for them and them alone. So that's why I said the explanation that we have is somehow inhibited. We cannot get the full details of the explanation. However, it is still good that we got to know about it because of the message that it carried. You have to remember that this was just like, we're told in St. Matthew's Gospel, 6 days after Jesus had that experience with disciples, when Peter demonstrated with him, when he had explained to them that he was going to suffer, was going to die, was going to... Peter said, no, this can't happen to you. And he had all over again tell them about his reason for coming, his mission, that he's going to come again in his glory. He has said that. You know, if you look at Matthew chapter 16, just before the end of the chapter, that's how it concluded, telling him that he's going to come back again in glory and all that stuff. So there was a need for Jesus to let them see a glimpse of his glory. So he just took them up, just showed them a glimpse. And it was quite inexplicable. Because we just said, it's so marvelous that even Peter didn't want the scene to leave anymore. His explanation that we have 3 booths, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah, just an indication that he wanted them to stay there, you know, not to live there anymore. Each and every one of us, believing in Jesus, we need to have our own transfiguration moment with Jesus. We need to have that experience of Jesus transfigured in our lives. It may not be in terms of Jesus coming and having garments that become dazzlingly whiter than any earthly picture could make them, but that Jesus would show or do something in our lives that will make us know that he is our God. You must have a moment of faith strengthening in your life. Just like Jesus did this for the disciples and disciples alone, so that their faith will be strengthened, so also does Jesus strengthen each and every one of us with experiences. It could be prayer answer, it could be overcoming a difficulty, it could be a temptation that one faced, and then the Lord helped him to surmount it. You certainly will have an experience in your life that will make you know that Jesus is God. Every Christian needs to have it. And every Christian, in fact, does have it. Every serious Christian. And then that is the transfiguration in your life. Jesus comes to you and strengthens you, and then you hear the voice of the Father deep within you in your heart. This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. What experience is that you have that brings you closer to Jesus, that pushes you, that makes you know that God is alive? It could even be an experience of someone that you see around you, but something that calls faith in you and strengthens your faith. That is some form of transfiguration. And you know what? I pray every day for all of us that we experience Jesus' transfiguration, because there's no one who experiences the transfiguration of Jesus who returns the same way. No one. And it is very, very personal, deeply personal. And when you have that experience of Jesus, you will never be the same. And no one can move you. No one can change you, because you have a direct connection with God, deep conviction of God, and preparedness to continue the service of God without any distraction. May this be our lot. The Lord Jesus help us, assist us, and grant us moments of transfigurations in our lives. Make our prayer to Christ our Lord. Amen.